Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
Quite inevitably, though a bit late, the poor are making their presence felt in the corona crisis. In fact, the poor of India are now standing up to say, listen, I also need to be counted, because lockdown means one thing to the urban middle classes, or what I call as balconied classes. It means something quite different for migratory laborers, for poor people who live day to day, meal to meal, or who need the day's income to buy their food and even their consumer goods. In fact, if you go and read up on the history of Indian consumer markets, you will know that one reason that FMCG, that is fast moving consumer goods companies, came up with the idea of selling shampoos in sachets precisely was this, that here is somebody who earns a bit of money at the end of the day, maybe once a week buys a sachet of shampoo because there is no money to buy a bottle of shampoo. So a lot of India, a lot of our fellow Indians live day to day without a consistent committed income for a month, a week, or even for the next day. They are now standing up and protesting. You've seen those visuals. They've come out to protest at Bandra station in Bombay because of rumors the train was going to take them back home. They are desperate to go home. Why? Because they don't have a living in the cities. They don't have homes in the cities. So when a human being is in panic, what is the first instinct? It is to run back home. We've seen that happen in Delhi. A shelter has been burned. Then a lot of the poor people have been found just squatting on the bed of river Yamuna, which caused a lot of embarrassment. And similarly, Surat, again protests have broken out. So the poor are now crying out to say, listen, this is not a lockdown that you will endure only in your gated colonies. Think of us, we are the biggest, not just sufferers, we are paying the biggest price for this lockdown. Now, a bunch of people have spoken out coincidentally on the same day. That is, the Indian Express has a front page article by Amartya Sen, Abhijit Banerjee and Raghuram Rajan. Two of them, as we know, are Nobel laureates. It's a short article with some ideas on how to address the immediate problem of the poor. Then Rahul Gandhi held his big, long and sort of rare press conference today, where he talked, and I must say he got the moment right to talk today, and he got the tone right because he was quite conciliatory and he said this is not the time to play politics and we all have to work together. There were some snide comments like, I don't like such strong, crude methods. I would have preferred a more nuanced way. I want a compassionate handling of the poor. But having said that, generally it was that the government is doing something, we'll all work together and India can defeat COVID, and maybe a stronger India will emerge from COVID. So far, so good. But he also then says, what can the government do for the poor? So he talks about giving a bunch of food, 10 kilos of grain, 1 kilo of dal, 1 kilo of sugar every week to the poor. And he also talks about transferring some money to the poor. He says, you don't want to call it Nyaya, don't call it Nyaya, call it anything. But for me, very important, he said, you have instruments like Aadhaar to transfer money directly to the poor. So for me, when the preeminent leader, the most preeminent leader of the Congress party says he swears by Aadhaar and direct benefit transfer, I would say a big battle has been won from India. I am not sure a lot of Aadhaarophobes will be happy to be hearing this from Rahul and me repeating it, but that's what is said today. Now, that's where you are. How do you get this stuff to the poor and what do you get to the poor? So the simple calculation is, or the simple idea is that the government is sitting on surplus food. Food means food grain. If that is surplus, why don't you just give it to the poor? What is the point of having your godowns overflowing with this grain, rats eating it, or this rotting away, getting infested by fungus? Why don't you just give it away to the poor? So that is the idea. Modi government took one step towards it when it said that everybody who is in the PDS scheme, everybody who has a ration card will now get another 5 kilos of grain and 1 kilo of pulses, dals, every month for free from the government for 3 months. So that was the kind of support for these 3 months. Rahul Gandhi says that's too little. You should give 10 kilos and 1 kilo of dal, 10 kilos of grain and 1 kilo of dal every week, and add 1 kilo of sugar also. The fact is India has too much sugar as well. But where will it come from and how will this be delivered, and what is it that the government can do? Rahul, of course, also says that you should transfer a bunch of more money. Modi government has transferred some money and has announced that they'll transfer some money. But once again, all these people have been saying transfer some income to the poor also. Maybe 5,000 rupees right now to everybody, and government can afford it. Now, first of all, the grain question. India is a very strange country that we have too much food grain. First of all, it is sitting in our godowns. As I said, rats are eating it, fungus is eating it up. But we are not able to sell it. Why? Simply because there is no demand for it. We produce too much food. In a situation like this, however, if you can somehow pass this on to the poor, then the money they spend, even buying it at a low subsidized price at the public distribution system, they can get it for free and use that money for someplace else. So that's a way of compensating them. Second, find ways to reach this food and this help to those who do not have ration cards. That is something again that these three economists say, that a lot of people do not have ration cards. They've been waiting for various reasons, for verification, for identity, etc. Maybe a solution is that for 6 months, government produces a temporary ration card, which means anybody who's willing to come and stand in a line to get a ration card made and then come and stand in a line to collect his or her grain on the due day should get a temporary ration card. Then you can check these out, etc., that this is a crisis time, you can do it. These are the mechanics of how this can be done. Look at also the data on what is it that's available with you. So if you look at the situation now, and I just went to the FCI website and you will see a visual. FCI is Food Corporation of India. I've said ruder things about it in the past, for C, not corporation. It's not the most efficient organization. It's not the cleanest organization in the country. Having said that, at this point, so towards the end of March, when we last checked on the FCI website, FCI had 3.09 million tons of wheat, 2.75 million tons of rice, and another 2.87 million tons of unmilled rice, or which is called paddy, which means rice with the peel or the bran or the the chilka, the husk still on it. So it has to be milled. It has not been milled so far because there is no demand. So India was sitting almost on 9 million tons of food grain. This is more than 3 times of the required buffer stocks, because India has had a food problem in the past. India always covers for a bad crop failure, any crisis. So India keeps a certain amount of grain as buffer, wheat, rice, coarse grains. This is 3 times the buffer. Why have you added up to 3 times of the buffer? Because you produce too much wheat and rice. Why do you produce too much wheat and rice? Because you've continued on with the process of a minimum support price. So farmer has become less entrepreneurial, which means just by rote, grow wheat, grow paddy. Government will come and buy it at the mandi. You will get a certain amount of money. There will be some profit, but not enough. But then there is no incentive to take a little bit of risk and produce something that creates more profits. That's a different story. The fact is, because of this phenomenon, India has too much grain. And this is the situation now. You have 3 times the needed stocks at a time when the new crop is just coming in. And this is going to be a super bumper Rabi crop. In fact, a lot of people thought that unseasonal rains have come, hail has come, but hail usually comes in a very limited geography. So unless it's really widespread, where it falls, it causes damage. But unless it's really widespread, it doesn't affect the larger picture. And this year, the wheat and mustard, which are the essential rabi crops, are really looking fantastic. So all this new supply will come in. You have a situation now where a state like Punjab, which is the granary of India, will not have any place to store this wheat. It will be kept in the open, and again, if an unseasonal rain comes, it will be ruined. So it is better that this grain is taken out of these granaries of FCI and given away to the poor. So the idea that maybe this 5 kg per month can be more than 5 kg per month. Also, it can be given over a period of time longer than just 3 months. And why wait for 3 months while the poor get more anxious and then take that decision? Take that decision now and say that this grain, additional grain, will be available to you for the next 6 months, if not longer, because this grain, most of this grain will rot. It cannot be exported commercially simply because international prices of this grain are lower than the prices at which Government of India acquires it, and by the time it spends on handling and storing, etc., this is much more than international prices. So it's better to use it here. It's also very bad economics the way it is right now, because Food Corporation of India borrows from banks, buys this grain, is not able to pay the banks. Banks which are government's own banks are sitting on bad debt even to Food Corporation of India. So maybe it's better for Government of India to buy this grain from FCI, and instead of paying the money to FCI, pay this money directly on FCI's behalf to the banks. So in the process, public sector banks will also look in better health. If government wants to spend 50,000 crores, 80,000 crores, 1 lakh crores by way of assisting the poor, then this might be a good way of doing it, because once again, new wheat will now come in and there will just be too much of it. Now, try and understand the scale of this. After the government announced 5 kg free grain every month and 1 kg free dal every month, in 12 days after that, as the lockout began, in the first 12 days, Indian Railways in special rakes, 605 special rakes, had carried 17 million tons of extra grain to be distributed. Now, this was distributed, of which Punjab got rid of 7.73 million tons, Haryana 3.02 million tons, and even Chhattisgarh. Usually you would think of Chhattisgarh as a very poor, backward state. Even Chhattisgarh gave away 1.15 million tons. This just tells you that green revolution is spread in India. India just has too much grain, and this is the time to put this grain to use. Now, there will be issues about how to reach people with ration cards. It's very simple. People without ration cards, you have to figure out, maybe this idea of temporary ration cards is not a bad one. It should be looked at, because this is the time when government can monetize its own liability. This grain sitting in FCI's godowns is not the government's asset. Excess grain is a liability. It is sitting there, it's blocking the money, there is nobody to buy it. Government can just buy it back from FCI, distribute it to the poor, instead of spraying money around just like that. This is one way of monetizing your own liability as well. So that's an idea worth looking at. Now, you do this, but is that enough? That is not enough, because the poor need much more than wheat and rice and dals. The poor need a living. So they have to come back and find themselves a living. Now there, I might not have many ideas because ultimately lives are very important. So you can't risk people's lives. But there are experts, for example, Ila Patnaik, who writes on economics for us. She's a noted economist. She has a column this week which you should read, and also a video of her discussion with our managing editor YP Rajesh, where she suggests an idea. And that idea is that don't let everybody to come back to work, but let some people start coming back to work. And maybe you can put an age barrier. So people below a certain age can come back to the cities and start working. Maybe those below 40, those below 50, because COVID is much more dangerous to people who are older. And that's where India's demographics are very useful. So just look at the basic demographic data on aging. Only 10% of India is above 60 years of age. Only 10%. How much is that? Just about 13.5 crores. Only 12.5% of India is above 55 years of age. That's just about 16 crores out of 136. Only 8.5% of India is above 65 years of age. That is just about 10 crore people. So I know it sounds cruel, but if you can find a way of persuading these 16 crores or those among these 16 crores who are working in the cities to not come in and to compensate them for food, some basic income, the rest can come back to work, because people don't like, human beings don't like just sitting at home and being sent wheat and rice and sugar. Sugar is right now not being given, and dal. Human beings need to have self-esteem, they need to be busy, they need to also have the self-respect to know that I am earning my living, I am useful, everybody wants to be useful, and everybody wants to live in dignity, not just be fed wheat and rice or grains all the time. So these are some ideas on how now to start some opening up, not just of infrastructure, not just of airlines that we think about, not just of e-commerce, but also of the economy as it affects the poor or self-employed poor, the daily wage poor, which is really the very large majority of India. So I'm sure as days pass, more ideas will come in, but these were some which have now cropped up, and many people are talking about this, and there will be discussion and there will be doubts and questions. So I thought this was a good idea for me to try and declutter these for you.